Hello, boxing world. Welcome to Boxing Blog Center. Eddie Hearn of Modern Boxing has stated recently in an interview that if Jerry Miller from Brooklyn is able to defeat Johan Dwapers in a spectacular way, he will look to make a fight with Jerry Miller and Joshua in Brooklyn in August. So a lot of people just heard the news and just flipped out. I've been watching all over social media, videos, and YouTube. Some channels talking about it, and they seem terrified that why not Deontay Wilder? Why not Deontay Wilder? This is, for me, in my opinion, this is tactics used by Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn is reminding Deontay Wilder that he's the man. That he is the boss. He decides when to get that fight and when not. And it's just trolling Deontay Wilder. But a lot of people have to realize that Anthony Joshua fighting Deontay Wilder might not happen this year. Or if it happened this year, it would be in the end of the year. Let's say November, December, time. But I don't think it will happen this year because there's a reason why Povetkin will be fighting on the undercard of Joshua versus Parker. So, and the expectations is if Povetkin is able to defeat David Price, which a lot of people think he will, then he now becomes the mandatory challenger for the WBA, strap that Joshua has. And Eddie Hearn, as a businessman, knows that something like that has to happen in order to remind Deontay Wilder that Deontay Wilder and the Joshua doesn't need you like you think he does, because according to Deontay Wilder recently, he said Joshua is not known in America. You just know the guy as a big guy from England. I think a big guy from England, they have to know his name. Maybe some people don't know him as a boxer, but I think that Joshua is known more as a boxer than as a big guy. Because there are a lot of big guys, everywhere you go, every corner you see a big guy. So they must know his name. And popularity in America, according to my own research, and Joshua seems to be more known in America than Deontay Wilder. Just on my own research that I've done, went to the internet to Google all these fights, just look at the fights, look at how their profile rose. Just looking at the TV networks like the HBO, Showtime fighting for Anthony Joshua's. Anthony Joshua's to fight. They're fighting to hear Anthony Joshua's fight. That says a lot for me. It's a lot because I've not seen that from HBO fighting for Deontay Wilder. Contesting who is going to hear this guy's next fight. I'm not saying it. Even though Deontay Wilder has got a great fight coming up. I think Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz is a bit more dangerous than Anthony Joshua versus Joseph Parker. Because according to the bookies, I'm saying that according to the bookies, Anthony Joshua will defeat Joseph Parker. There's an 100% assurance, at least 99%. But according to the bookies, it's 50-5 between Luis Ortiz and Deontay Wilder. But in my opinion, if you ask me, I would say Joseph Parker is underrated. The guys shouldn't be just looked over like that, because the guy has got a point to prove. He's got nothing to lose. He can go to Cardiff, and let me tell you one thing: Joseph Parker is coming into this fight as as someone who has nothing to lose. Like, win or lose, nobody will say, Joseph Parker is that, because he has no expectations behind him. There's no hype behind Joseph Parker. Just recently, you start seeing people, Joseph Parker is the best, so Joseph Parker fans. But before that, there was no hype. Whenever you talked about Joseph Parker, but just like, that guy from New Zealand who's a big penderies, they're just like that. But right now, the hype isn't Deontay Wilder and just to Joshua, and just a hype around Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz's son can be justified because he has had 300 something plus amateur fights. You know, as a pro, he hasn't really beaten a world class fighter like an A plus fighter, but he has beaten an A fighter. I mean, he's beaten an A class fighter, which is Brand Jennings. Brand Jennings to me is an A class fighter. So, Eddie Hearn is using these tactics to remind you onto what this is a reminder, like reminding you onto what that and Joshua can come to America and make a name for himself without you. A lot of people demand the Enter Joshua and Deontay Wilder fight, but Deontay Wilder saying that Joshua needs him more is doesn't really. It's not true. It's untrue, you know. What he's saying is untrue. Because Anthony Joshua could fight anybody and make money. I mean, could fight anybody. Like Jeremy Miller is seen as the next big thing in America. As in, I see Jeremy Miller as the British Dillian White due to the character, how they talk, how they like trash talk. Jeremy Miller like trash talk a lot. Dillian White also, you know. So I see him as the version of Dillian White. And in America, in Brooklyn, it's seen as the next big thing, him being from Brooklyn, you know. So, and for me, Jeremy Miller has got some skills for a big man, and he throws a lot of punches for a big man. So, I don't think Anthony Joshua will be fighting Jeremy Miller in August. No. Eddie Hearn is using that as a throw game, you know, is a reminder to remind you onto what that, hey, you said Joshua needs you, but now I can prove you wrong that Joshua doesn't need you to fight in America. He could fight Jeremy Miller, he could fight Brand Jennings, he could fight Dumir Brazil also. It was a good fight, and Dumir Brazil has improved as a fighter. There are a lot of good fighters in America. Just that Deontay Wilder is now like the like you said, the boogeyman in American heavyweight division. Boogeyman, is he the boogeyman? I think yeah, because Jeremy Miller is not really known, not known like that. Deontay Wilder is not really known either, but he's the boogeyman. I mean, the boxing world in America, boxing world knows him in America than they know Jeremy Miller. Apart from in Brooklyn, you know, in Brooklyn, Jeremy Miller is a top dog in Brooklyn. You know. And Adam Kowalski also is also coming up, which also a Polish background, and I think a lot of Polish people will support him because Kowalski is also a good fighter. Don't look at his physique, you know, but just look at the guy, how he fights. He's a really good fighter. So a lot of good fighters coming up in America. And I think Eddie Hearn is just trolling. I mean, reminding Deontay Wilder that you're not who you think you are. I can make Joshua fight in America and get a lot of attention without you. So that's it for now, guys. You guys give your opinion below and give your thoughts below what you think about it. It's Eddie Hearn trolling or reminding Deontay Wilder that who the box is. Is this a game or a chess game? Like, you know, Deontay Wilder is playing a chess game with Joshua. Is this a tactical, you know, plan from Eddie Hearn to remind Deontay Wilder that, hey, Joshua can be successful in America without you. He don't really need it, but he can do it if he wants to do it. I mean, he wanted to do it against Klitschko, so I think the politics of boxing is just crazy. But I think sometimes we need this type of politics because if there's no politics of boxing, I mean, it will be boring. I mean, in UFC, you don't have this, you know, drama in UFC because Dana White is a control of everything, you know, and the UFC fans get what they want. But the boxing world is not like that, and sometimes it's also good in the boxing world to have this politics, you know, because without it, you know, the boxing would have improved. I mean, I think so. In America, I heard the UFC is, you know, getting more attention, but in my country where I come from, and even where I live now, the UFC is not existent yet. I mean, a lot of people I know don't want to watch a man fighting in a cage. I want to see, you know, tactical game plan. That, you know, I want to see the sweet science. I'm not a UFC fan. I only knew Conor McGregor, but I didn't watch his fight. I just knew him through Mayweather, and also now I'm starting to know Francis Ngannou because it's a Cameroonian descent and an African, you know. So just because of that, I'm not a UFC fan. I've not watched UFC fight before, but I think they're trying Miocic is a good guy. That's it for now, guys. Like, subscribe, and of course, comment. Please click that subscribe button. There's a lot of raw videos coming up, and those of you who wants to join me on a live stream hangout, so we can talk about boxing or want to debate, discuss about boxing, because I myself, I'm not, you know, perfect. I'm still a boxing fan. That's it for now, guys. Cheers.